Hey everybody, it's Chase with AV Pop Culture again, and today we are talking about the latest hit to streaming and the other big announcement in favor of physical media. So pop that tape in, I got you, let's go do this. All right, so this is going to be kind of a quick video. I just wanted to talk about it because a lot of things have been happening and a lot of things have been announced in the past couple of days. And I'm actually working on a bunch of other videos. I'm working on a bunch of unboxings. I have so much physical media to talk to you guys about that's coming in. I've got boxes I haven't even gotten to yet. But I wanted to come in here and talk because I think something happened yesterday combined with some other things that have been happening to make it very obvious that physical media is growing and is very serious, and streaming just keeps taking hit after hit after hit. And the latest hit is the whole merger, and I've kind of mentioned it before, but you have a bundle that's coming with Netflix and Peacock and Apple TV Plus, but that's kind of like the secondary. The other news that shows that streaming is fledgling a little bit combined with that, which, I mean, we're basically creating with all these mergers, we're creating cable again. If you want to hear me talk more about that, check out my other video on physical media and streaming dying. But you have the fact that Netflix is playing with their numbers in order to try to make things look better than what they are. And what I mean with it by that is in the last quarter of 2023, Netflix reported that they gained subscribers, like 9 million subscribers worldwide. But when you really go into those numbers, that's not really true. They actually lost a bunch of subscribers, but they hid it very well. So when the whole new password, the crackdown on password usage and password sharing came in, they had a new, and I'm sure this has been talked about before, but they had a new system come into place where you could add family members not in your house to your plan for a small additional fee or whatever. Used to be able to just share your password if there wasn't too many screens being used at one time. But now you had to add them to your plan for a small fee. Well, they counted every single one of those as a new subscription. So even though it was like a small add-on to a current subscription, they counted every one as a new subscription. So they were very much playing with the numbers there. And because that came out to being bigger than what they thought, than the projections, they have now just announced that going forward, starting in 2025, they are no longer going to announce quarterly subscriber updates. So you might ask, like, hey, if you're doing well, you have no reason to hide the numbers. You only hide the numbers when you're in trouble, because now you got to hide the numbers from investors and things like that to keep your stock from going down. So there's some kind of transparency that's not there, and you only do that when you're in trouble. So you combine the fact that they played fast and loose with subscribers with the whole password sharing thing and counting those as subscribers. Then they announced that going forward, they're not going to update quarterly subscriber gains and losses, mostly losses. That's why they don't want to mention them. And then you add that with the fact that they are cutting titles. They're down to 3,600 titles, counting TV shows and their own content, and they're trying to get below 3,000. You add that with the fact that now they're merging with HBO Max and Apple TV Plus, and, or excuse me, Yeah, that's right. Not HBO. HBO Max. I can't even keep my mergers straight. You got HBO Max, Disney Plus, and Hulu all together over there, and now you've got Apple TV Plus, Netflix, and Peacock that are going together. So they're basically recreating cable because they can't survive off of their model, and they're losing money holding on to this content and having to pay residuals and everything else. So their only options is to cut content because it's costing them money, or to raise prices, or add supported streams. So that's the other thing they're doing to play with numbers. They're going to offer these low tiers at a low price, but you have to watch commercials the same as you did on cable TV. Now you're paying an extra fee to watch commercials. And that is kind of showing right there that they are in some trouble and they're trying to hide it. Meanwhile, on the physical media side, you have this huge deal where Sony inks a deal to have access to the entire Disney, everything Disney owns, to put out exclusively on physical media. Sony cannot put it out in any other way, only physical media. Now, Sony did not do that without having something in mind, and that is to put out a shitload of physical media. Sony creates one hand feeds the other situation, because unlike Disney and stuff like that, Sony makes and manufactures televisions and Blu-ray players and 4K players. So if they also manufacture the content, they have one revenue stream feeding the other. And that's a really good business model to have in a time where these streaming companies are scrambling to hide numbers and merge with each other and sell commercial space and everything else, because they're constantly having to pay these residuals and everything else. And it's their model is broken. It always had a ceiling. It always had a bubble that would burst. Physical media does not, because while it may cost money on the front end to put out DVDs or Blu-rays or 4Ks, you're not constantly having to pay for that content. When they do a sell-through of a certain amount of physical media, they pay it one time, and then they're getting all the money back for the physical media. They could have to do buybacks if they don't sell, but usually those are worked in, and that's one reason that you're seeing less of a release at one time, because it mitigates cost and loss. So if they only press 20,000 copies, then they're far less likely to have any buybacks or any loss. They're going to sell them all. And then they can just press another 10, another 20,000, whatever. Versus if they went out and pressed 200,000 copies and then they got 50,000 buybacks and they're all this, what are they going to do? No, they can control the amount that's out there and constantly keep their costs down by only printing as many or pressing as many as needed. And that is a huge advantage over digital, because if Netflix licenses a movie for 5 years, they're paying that licensing fee and all that stuff to hold it on their channel, whether you watch it or not. So it's and listen, they have moved away from getting very many independent films. And I think that's a problem with Netflix that physical media could step in with, because besides all of these boutique agencies, you can go to independent labels and buy horror movies that you maybe not even seen on Vinegar Syndrome or anywhere else. Like, for instance, one of my films, Bring Me a Dream, you can, it's put out by Indican Pictures and Magnolia Pictures, which fall under the Lionsgate umbrella. But in order to get it, you can get it on Amazon Prime, I think. But if you go directly to Indican Pictures or Magnolia Pictures, there's this whole catalog of movies, horror movies and stuff that maybe you don't know that were never studio releases. So that's another physical media outlet. And I think the biggest news that shows where we're going is the 4K announcement of the 4K release of Friends. Now, it's not a movie, it's a TV show, but it's one of the biggest TV shows in history. And for them to go back and do a 4K restoration from the original 35 millimeter camera, negative, or the original 35 millimeter film, and put that out there in an uncut versions of all your shows. So it's the uncensored version, number one, and censorship is a whole other problem with streaming. So it's the uncensored version, but it's also the uncut full length versions of each episode. So you're not going to get those syndication cuts where they cut it out. They cut out scenes and different music cues and things like that because it costs money and they don't want to pay, or because they need to cram in more commercials. You're going to get the full episodes. And then you're going to get all this other content that you just cannot get on streaming. And this represents a massive investment by Warner Brothers to put this out. And given the fact that HBO Max is struggling and having to merge, I find it very interesting because one of the most watched things on HBO Max is Friends. So, and now that HBO Max is all but doing away with 4K streaming, which really isn't 4K quality anyway, we all know that, they're going to put out for sale one of their biggest draws to their streaming, which means to me, they may take it away from streaming when they merge. I don't have any proof of that. Maybe they'll leave it on, but they may say, hey, Disney, we're not carrying you with this, and it's off here. We're going to make money over here on physical media with it. And it is a landmark thing because you combine that with Sony's deal, and we could be getting a big bump up in physical media. I mean, Sony's going to put out a lot of physical media, and it's going to hurt streaming because there are rabid Disney fans and things like that. Trust me, I know. I also cover like theme parks and stuff like that. I've done that. I'm a big theme park fan because I'm a big movie fan. There are rabid Disney fans that are dying for all kinds of cool releases to be put out. And then you have like Fox, 20th Century Fox Pictures. You have Touchstone, all these titles that we've been wanting forever that could come out that Sony could just make a fortune off of, and then they can sell more TVs and more Blu-ray players. And then over here, Warner Brothers is like, yeah, HBO Max is going down. We're having to merge. We're going to invest in putting out Friends in 4K in this massive set. So there are a lot of big things happening in the positive way, not to mention all the great boutique agencies or distributors. There are a lot of good things happening in a big way for physical media at the same time that streaming is taking hit after hit. It doesn't matter whether you think, oh, it doesn't matter, they've won. No, they haven't won. They maybe won a battle. They haven't won the war yet. There is a big difference, and their model is broken. And if HBO Max and Disney Plus and Hulu Plus Sports ends up costing some of the rumored anywhere between $60 and $90 a month if they add sports and you don't want commercials, holy crap, there's going to be a blowback on that, because one block over there is going to cost you as much as a cable subscription. And that's not counting anything else. So I'm very interested to see. There's a lot of things working. I'm very excited. I was a fan of the Friends TV show. If it drops down to around $200 by the time it's released, I will probably invest in that, because if I ever want to watch it again, I have absolutely no interest in watching it on streaming with censored versions and scenes and episodes cut out, which has been happening. There's like a whole episode missing of Friends. I think it's like season 1 or 2, episode 9, I think. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head, but they took one episode out, and I don't even remember why. But I don't want that. I want to watch it, and I'd love to see it in 4K. I would love to see other TV shows in 4K, and I think if this happens, you may see that. Like, if this does well, you may see that. Warner Brothers is setting on some great genre stuff. Like, I was a big fan of the show Supernatural, and you have Smallville. You have all these genre shows and superhero shows that they're setting on that they could put out in 4K. If this does well, that would sell like crazy, and I am hoping to see it. I am here for it. I am here for every misstep that streaming takes, because I don't want my quality downgraded. I don't want to have to pay for the right to watch TV or an episode forever that you could take from me or change for me. I want to own the show or the movie that I love in the best quality and watch it and enjoy it forever. And you can't censor it or take it from me. And that's one thing I love about physical media. And I think with this Sony news and the release of Friends and then all these mergers and everything else, physical media, I think it's a great time to be a physical media collector right now. But let me know what you think. I know people have hot feelings on this one way or the other. I know some people that have maybe done this for a while might be a little down on it or cynical or whatever. I'm just coming to you from the other side, having dealt with these people in some small ways with my films, and from what I've seen and what's happening when you really look at it, there are signposts along the way. Nothing, we'll get 5 years down the road and somebody will be like, oh man, streaming as we knew it died all at once. No, it's never going to completely go away, and it's not going to die all at once. It's like the old saying, like they asked Joss Whedon, how did you become a success overnight? He said, it took me 12 years to become overnight success. That's what's going to happen. There's like these little things, the mergers, the cutting of content, the raising of prices, the ads being added into it, the ad tiers, the taking away of password sharing, the add-ons of family members, counting all these things. And then you have all of these like deals with Sony and Warner Brothers putting out something like this. There are signs along the way, and they point to all things good for physical media right now. So let me know in the comments, and I'll be back with a couple of big videos coming, some unboxings and some big hauls. And I got a whole stack of Criterion collection and all kinds of stuff. And a big shout out to the original Fuzz. He inspired me to do my top 25 movies of all time, my top 25 favorites. I am working on a surprisingly intense list, and I look forward to doing that and sharing it with you guys, because I think it's a great way to get to know somebody. And until next time, be kind, rewind like always. This is Chase with AV Pop Culture, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. I know.